On this week's report, HIV vaccine shows promising results. Ancient DNA testing solves prehistoric controversy, and blind cheetah robot climbs literal stairs fast. All of this and more on Sunday Morning Coffee. Hello and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee, the show where science and technology take a calm, relaxed tone. I'm your host, Jake, and on today's show, novel HIV vaccine candidate is safe and induces immune response in healthy adults and monkeys. This news story comes from The Lancet from July 7th of 2018. Quote, the new research shows that an experimental HIV-1 vaccine regimen is well tolerated and generated a compatible and robust immune response against HIV in healthy adults and rhesus monkeys. Moreover, the vaccine candidate protected against infections with an HIV-like virus in monkeys. As seen here, we're finally able to combat the HIV virus at a greater degree. For those of you that do not know, vaccines are like training courses for the immune system. They prepare the body to fight diseases without exposing it to disease symptoms. When foreign invaders, such as bacteria or viruses, enter the body, immune cells called lymphocytes, aka white cells, respond by producing antibodies, which are protein molecules. Basically, we teach our own body how to deal with the threat by not exposing it to the threat completely. As in the threat, but no symptoms, and in low quantities to make sure we don't die. Regardless, the HIV virus has been one hard virus to combat, mainly because of how it works. In a way, it feeds off the CD4 cells, which are a type of white blood cell that plays a major role in protecting the body from infections, basically taking knowledge of how they work and making sure that they can fight the other white cells. But with this vaccine, the HIV-1 vaccine, we may as well have just a chance. With this vaccine, we may as well literally have a fighting chance to be able to break the face of what is HIV, and who knows, maybe eradicate it completely. Our next story, ancient DNA testing solves a 100-year-old controversy in Southeast Asian prehistory. This news story comes from the University of Cambridge from July 6, 2018. Quote, to competing theories about the human occupations of Southeast Asia have been debunked by groundbreaking analysis of ancient DNA extracted from 8,000-year-old skeletons. A little-known fact, or better said, a not-so-well-said fact, is that Southeast Asia is one of, if not the only, most genetically diverse regions in the world. But for a while, no one was able to agree on who was right and how things got started down there. Only when, apparently, Professor Esker Miller-Slivigi, sorry for slaughtering your name, who holds positions both at St. John's College, University of Cambridge, and the University of Copenhagen, led the international study that was able to explain, finally, who is right. I won't go into too much detail about this since it's like a whole complex paper, and we will literally not have enough time in this entire video to explain it, mainly because I'm not a microbiologist, or a biologist for that matter, or a geneticist, but all the stories are in the link in the description if you want to read more. Implanting diamonds with flaws offers key technology for quantum communication. This news story comes from Princeton University, the engineering school, from July 5th, 2018. Quote, diamonds are prized for their purity, but their flaws might hold the key to a new type of highly secure communication. Researchers are using diamonds to preserve fragile quantum information over long distances, end quote. To sum it up, a more brief manner, this means that we will be able to probably use quantum crypto gear as it was in the Transformers 2 movie. Oh, wait, that's real. In the sense of like protecting people from theft. As I was looking for this, I actually decided to search quantum crypto gear, and it is actually a thing. I thought that was just movie science. Moving on. This means we may have a better form of data transfer rather than a whole complex system of just wiring, but still fully encrypted, as well using diamonds for more than just jewelry. We can have them have an actual commercial purpose, other than like up until this point, literally just having the use of grinding, cutting, drilling, and polishing. And don't get me wrong, those are really good commercial uses, but this is a more advanced commercial use, and I think this will be perfect, mainly because it falls in the area of technology. Blind cheetah robot can climb stairs littered with obstacles. Improved design may be used for exploring disaster zones. This news story comes from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology from July 5th, 2018. Quote, MIT's Cheetah 3 robot can now leap and gallop across rough terrain, climbing a staircase littered with debris and quickly recover its balance when suddenly yanked or shoved, all while essentially blind. The 90-pound mechanical beast, about the size of a full-grown Labrador, is intentionally designed to do all this without relying on cameras or any external environmental sensors. Props for them. The overdue fact that this unit exists is a blessing in itself. The 90-pound mechanical beast, about the size of a full-grown Labrador, is intentionally designed to do all this without relying on cameras or any external environmental sensors, quote-unquote. Instead, it simply goes about feeling its way through things, in a sense. The scientists over there call it a blind locomotion. Like trying to go into the kitchen at 3 a.m. without anyone noticing, only this thing will probably not wake up people like at that time in the morning. The uses for this could be more on the side of safety and search and rescue, as said previously in the news article. Our next story, heat conducting crystals could help computer chips keep their cool. Nice pun. This news story comes from University of Texas and Dallas, from July 5th, 2018. Quote, as consumers demand smaller, faster, and more powerful electronic devices that draw more current and generate more heat, the issue of heat management is reaching a bottleneck. Researchers have created a potential solution. Boron arsenide crystals, with high thermal conductivity, which might be used in future electronics to help keep devices from overheating. End quote. We've reached the pinnacle of machines that is needed, honestly. The problem of overheating devices should have been solved sooner. I'm looking at every other tech company ever. Like data management. Whisking heat away from the circuitry in a computer's innards to the outside environment is critical. Overheated computer chips can make programs run slower or freeze, shut the device down altogether, or cause permanent damage, which is why this solution is potentially, as kids say, everything. May as well keep an eye on that to see how soon I can put a boron arsenic crystal into my PC and not die. The joke being that arsenic comes from arsenic. Our final story of the morning, semiconductor quantum transistors open the door for photon-based computing. This news story comes from the University of Maryland from July 5th of 2018. And quote, researchers have demonstrated the first single photon transistor using a semiconductor chip. Well, quantum is taking a whole new leap. The joke being that quantum leaping is a theoretical thing. To put it in simpler terms, quantum computing, like that of that one computing company in Canada called D-Wave, cannot transfer data in a way like common computers can, mainly because quantum computers follow a whole different set of rules altogether. Reason being, they use qubits. Qubits are oversimplified ones and zeros at the same time and not. And last I checked, not even my PC can handle that much data at once in a line of code. Maybe it can, maybe it cannot, mainly because this computer just runs Windows 7 now. It runs Windows 10. But now with this, we can load data with photons and with semiconductors chips the size of a grain of rice, actually smaller. Quoting the article, now researchers at the University of Maryland's A. James Clark School of Engineering and Joint Quantum Institute, JQI, led by Professor of Electrical Computer Engineering, JQI Fellow, and Institute for Research in Electronics and Applied Physics affiliate Edo Walks, have cleared this hurdle and demonstrated the first single photon transistor using a semiconductor chip. The device, described in the July 6th issue of Science, is compact. Roughly 1 million of these new transistors could fit inside a single grain of salt. It is also fast and able to process 10 billion photonic qubits every second. So to give you some direct context over this, literally we can have loads and loads of amount of data passed by one photon. A photon is basically what light is composed of. Not exactly, that is oversimplified, just for people that are trying to get into science to understand. And mainly, regular computers cannot pass data like this for the reason that computers cannot process ones and zeros at the same time, only ones and zeros individually. Simply put, we're going to have greater computing speeds with less necessity over quantum processing. All the stories shown today will be linked in the description down below. Thank you very much for tuning in to this broadcast. Be definitely sure to give this video a like, comment on any news stories that you might find interesting in this week, and subscribe if you want to see more stories and shows like this. And we'll see you all in the next video. Bye.